Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or much good depending on your location. Please join in the struggle to liberate our people from the contraption. Like and share videos, news updates. We deserve respect, not public bullying. Shame. Obi of Onitsha tells Soludo. Yes, that's the chairman of the Anambra State Traditional Rulers Council, Igwe Achebe, has faulted the Anambra State government's approach, to suspend or sanction the traditional rulers in the state for granting chieftaincy titles to certain individuals. Now, Igwe Achebe, who is the Obi of Onitsha, regretted the harsh action of the government regarding the suspension of the traditional ruler of Neni in the Onitsha local government area of Anambra State, Igwe Demian Uwezane. Yes, because the government said because he conferred a chieftaincy title on the senator representing Anambra South, that's Senator Ifeanyi. Now, the traditional ruler, talking about the Igwe Achebe, reminded Governor Soludo that the livelihood of traditional rulers in Anambra State does not depend on the selling of chieftaincy titles or the 175,000 naira monthly stipend Soludo is giving them, that's the monarchs, say bet on their own hard and modest personal resources. Yes, that's where their livelihood stands. So they make their living through their hard and modest personal resources. Now the chairman insisted, that's Igwe Achebe, that by their office, age, attainment, and standing in society, the traditional rulers in the state deserve far better respect and dignity, and not bullying. Bullying by Soludo, according to him, says Soludo is bullying the traditional rulers. So he wrote a letter to the state government through the Commissioner for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Community Affairs, Tony Wabunwane. Yes. So, talking about the suspended traditional ruler of Neni that happened the last week. Now, the letter goes this way. The letter written by the Obi of Onitsha. Now, it's a 14-point letter titled Notification for the Suspension of His Royal Highness Igwe Demian Uwezane, the traditional ruler of Neni, and it was addressed to the commissioner and personally signed by Achebe. Now, Obi of Onitsha faulted the dimension that was taken by the state government in the suspension of Ezane. Let me quote him now. I am writing in response to your letter with reference number MLG-CCA/SC/2022/T/025/001/103 of the above caption to me dated 8 January 2024. This response also provides a fuller context of other events relating to the suspension of His Royal Highness Igwe Demian Uwezane, the traditional ruler of Neni. Your letter was hand-delivered to me at Onitsha at 6:55 p.m. on Tuesday, 9th January 2024. My suspicion that your letter was an afterthought was buttressed by the fact that your letter of suspension to Igwe Demian Uwezane of the same date, 8 January 2024, was already trending virally on social media for well over 24 hours prior to my receipt of your letter. I was embarrassingly inundated with phone calls and messages from traditional rulers and other persons seeking clarification from me as chairman of ASTRC regarding a situation to which I was not privy. Your letter to Igwe Demian Uwezane was copied to the Commissioner of Police and Director of DSS, Anambra State, but not to the chairman of the ASTRC. This act, amongst many others, was seen by the traditional rulers of Anambra State as a measure of the worth of the traditional institution to the present administration. Distinguished Senator Ifeanyi is not an unknown entity in Anambra State. or Nigeria, including to the present administration. Thus, the suspension of Igwe and the threat to withdraw his certificate of recognition for apparently violating the code of conduct by giving him a chieftaincy title was extreme in comparison with other recent cases. You publicly visited the scenes of an unrecognized self-acclaimed traditional ruler on the entire state's traditional institution, to which he does not belong. The livelihood of the traditional rulers does not depend on selling chieftaincy titles or the 175,000 naira monthly stipend from the state government, but on their own hard-earned modest personal resources. By their office, age, attainment, and standing in society, they deserve far better respect and dignity than being publicly bullied and unfairly shamed at every opportunity by people in the state government. The federal and other state governments hold the traditional institutions in high esteem. What then has gone wrong in Anambra State? The traditional institution of Anambra feels strongly that the present administration is progressively dehumanizing and deprecating the institution against the trained in the rest of the country. On the events over the last 8 days or so, you will also recall that you called me severally on Saturday, 6th January 2024, between 15:34 and 22:31 hours without reaching me. At 08:06 hours on Sunday morning, I called you and explained the circumstances that made me unreachable on the previous day. In a long conversation, you said that you were seeking to bring to my attention a press release that you were under pressure to issue. This was in connection with traditional rulers conferring honorary chieftaincy titles in violation of the Code of Conduct for traditional rulers and the government directives. You specifically mentioned 2 cases only, namely Igwe, who conferred an honorary chieftaincy title on Senator Ifeanyi on 30 December 2023, and the self-acclaimed traditional ruler of Ç0ÑFÊ, who conferred honorary chieftaincy titles on 40 persons on 4th January 2024. You further confirmed that the press release had been issued, which I later found to be on 4th January 2024. That is the day prior to your unsuccessful attempt to reach me. In the conversation, you categorically did not mention, in any regard whatsoever, Igwe, who celebrated his Ofala on 29th December 2023. In our above conversation, I made the following points. Your desire to reach me on Saturday night seemed merely to justify a fait accompli, considering that you had already issued a press release 2 days earlier under pressure, as you said. I noted that the self-acclaimed Igwe, whose recognition was withheld by the government due to pending matters in court, was consequently not considered a member of the state traditional institution. His activities should therefore not be associated with the state traditional institution in any manner. I distinctly pointed out that picking on the above 2 cases, Ojoto and Ç0ÑFÊ, by your office was selective and appeared to be a deliberate favoritism towards other cases, which you were well aware of. I reminded you that there had not been any reaction from you or Mr. Governor to our conversations of 4th October 2023 on the Code of Conduct for Traditional Rulers. You apologized for the failure to the fact. End of quote. Now, this is a statement from the Obi of Onitsha, Igwe Achebe. Yes. So, he's kicking against what is happening in Anambra State. He's telling Soludo, say, stop bullying traditional rulers. Now, as we are speaking, the traditional ruler of Agolo in Agote local government area, Igwe F.E. Ebelendu, traditional ruler of Neni in Onitsha local government area, Igwe Onwameze, and the traditional ruler of Ojoto in Idemili South local government area, Igwe Gerard Mbamalu, have all withdrawn the chief titles they conferred on Senator Ifeanyi Oba. So, Senator Ifeanyi Oba is the bone of contention Anambra State is fighting, or Soludo is fighting with Ifeanyi, and so that is the tension that creating Anambra State, dragging the traditional institutions into it, and it's very unfortunate, unpalatable, and unacceptable. The traditional institutions in Anambra State, as in other parts of Igbo land,